Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And today I want to show you guys a very interesting video. Both myself and Data Driven Investing, another very big creator and covers SoFi like crazy. It's not the only company he holds, but it is one that he's been covering for years. Data Driven Investing, I think, has been a shareholder of SoFi since IPOE. I could be wrong. He's very knowledgeable in this company, but we look at this company through very different lenses as well. So it's very interesting always whenever he puts out his predictions that I love to compare them versus mine to see, where am I potentially going wrong? Where do I have skepticism on some of his outlooks? And let's go ahead and take a look at this. So one, I have all of the past earnings. So those are just in this light blue SoFi color. Both myself, Future Investing, FI, and Data Driven Investing, DDI, will be in these two columns here for Q4 of 2024. Okay. So let's go ahead and first start. And immediately we see a difference in our opinions in members. I said 795,000 new members based on the average growth that we saw through the 10 million members up to December 12th. He actually thinks that this is going to be quite a similar situation, but potentially even more bullish through the holidays, and then subtracting about 30,000 accounts through churn because they are inactive or, no longer have any funds in the account or something like this that actually makes them churn off the platform. But let's go ahead and get into it into a revenue perspective. Let's not show that yet. Total net revenue. I said 690 million. He said 697.5 million. Riveting, I know. Quarter over quarter, he actually thinks it's going to be positive. I think it's going to be slightly negative. But let's get into where we really differentiate. One, financial services. Okay. His perspective is that we are going to see an 86% growth rate year over year. Very bullish, yet on the actual deposit side, he's only seeing 2.1 million deposits. I think it's going to be closer to 2.7 billion. But that being said, the total net revenue from financial services is really going to be 259 million, according to DDI. Now, there's a very easy trend that you can follow whenever looking at SoFi, and that's that the financial services platform usually grows revenue at a linear $20+ million every single quarter. But this trend was actually broken in Q3 of 2024 whenever SoFi, grew so much faster in Q3. That was mainly due to the, loan platform business that grew it so much faster than what people were expecting because it wasn't even a product that we knew was going to be a thing, nor did we know it was going to be counted under financial services. So this grew much quicker. He thinks that that's going to continue to go that direction. I think that trend of 20+ million is going to get broken, especially with the loan platform business. I think we're going to see a much different quarter for loan platform business, one that I'll actually explain in the lending revenue segment. But I think that trend will be gone going forward. Okay. But let's go ahead and move on to lending because it's really going to shed a lot of light on the rest of the ideas here. So first off, lending. He is much more bullish on the lending side, still quarter over quarter, -8%. I said -10%. Now, one thing to add here, he did end up saying in his article, because he finished it on Thursday, right, that he saw the $525 million securitization. I wrote mine like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I didn't end up seeing that at all. So he's probably right that it is more bullish than what I'm saying. If there's anything where I'm going to be really far off of, I do believe it's going to be this segment the most, okay? I'm sure I'm going to be wrong on a lot of things, but this one particularly, I am probably too conservative here, especially whenever I look into my total originations. I think we're going to come in at 6.7 billion of originations. He thinks closer to 5.7, a billion shy from what I'm actually assuming, okay? Now, we're not too far off on personal loans, about $100 million of originations. On home loans, once again, about $120 million of, originations from mine to his. And then student loans, this is where we just completely diverge. I think it's going to be practically double what he's assuming. So he's saying 790 million. I'm saying 1.5 billion. Now, part of the ways that he actually ended up deriving these numbers was looking at the cyclicality between all of their Q4s for every single year that they've been a public company. And yes, it's been shy on the originations, but there's a couple aspects to this that are really changing. So one, loan platform businesses are changing the way that I believe that SoFi is going to get on more originations, right? because we're not held to our tangible book value anymore. So if we find more buyers for the loan platform business, we can grow faster than what we've potentially previously done. And it won't matter whether it's between Q4 or Q3. But also, there's been essentially 2 rate cuts in Q4, or 2 rate cuts that would impact Q4. So this is where I really think that he's going to be wrong on the student loan side, is that one, in Q4, federal student loans actually went up in their rate, and then SoFi's actually went down essentially 2 separate times. So I think that this is going to be a big beat on student loans. And then potentially what also happened is SoFi student loan servicing changed from Mohila to SoFi servicing. Now, why is this important? Well, if SoFi could potentially turn the loan platform business into not just doing personal loans, but also add on student loans, I don't see why they couldn't enact that immediately. Then we could also see a potential sale or multiple sales of loans that went through the student loan platform rather than just personal loans specifically. So I actually think that this is going to be the area where he is most wrong, which is the 790 million of student loans. But we'll see. And then technology platform revenue, we are essentially identical. And then corporate revenue, he thinks 39 million in negative. I just thought because I think it was Chris Lapointe or something, they said that they were going to do pretty much on average about negative 20 million each quarter. So they've had some times where they've done negative 20. They've had some times where they've done, positives to those numbers. I'm just putting it at an average of 20 million. But let's go ahead and look at EBITDA. Okay. What's very interesting is how close we actually ended up coming. I was slightly more bullish on the margin side at a 27.3%, and he came in at a 27.23%, but we were only about $1.4 million off. So very, very close there, even though he had more on the revenue side. But once you add in corporate revenue and everything, we actually come pretty similar in line there, just on an individual segment basis for lending and financial services. I look bearish on those. And lastly, we have earnings, okay? Net income, I actually believe, is going to come in at a 9% margin, bringing in $62 million. And he thought at a 9.16% margin, we'd see $63.9 million of net income, both leading to 6 cents of EPS. However, we slightly came in a little bit shy or a little bit different on diluted outstanding share count. I actually didn't read why he only went up by 10 million shares, but most quarters actually do take 20 million steps or 20 million, quarter steps. So I just added 20 million to where we were before. But I don't think I remember seeing that in his article. Maybe some people could correct me. You can go to datadinvesting.com to read through his entire report and all the reasonings behind all of his numbers. But this is essentially what we compared on. It's not including all of the other product numbers that I do and all of that other stuff, or like contribution profit. I'm only trying to show off the ones where we both had a statistic on, not everything, because I don't want to make assumptions for him. I'll let him do that, and then we can sort of have fun. So hopefully he will come on the SoFi Weekly sometime to debate some of these numbers, tell me why I'm wrong, and that'll be another great show for you guys. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the full video. Really do appreciate your time. If you want, hit the subscribe button. Bye for now.